Right, this is my my little review of the 2021 CRF1100 Africa Twin. So far I've covered 22,780 kilometers on it. I've had it nearly 2 years. I'm actually currently selling it at the moment, so I said I'll do this before I do. So let's crack on. Alright, just give you a little bit of brief history. I've had the CRF1100 Africa Twin. I had that for nearly 5 years. I done 80 odd thousand on it and changed it for this one. In the first year on this one I've done roughly around 20,000 or so on it. I haven't used it as much lately since I got the little CRF1100 because I've been doing a lot of off-road, but I have done some big mileage runs on this. I've done a lot of mileage on it. Long days, 12, 14 hours, 7, 8, 900 kilometers in the one day, no problem. I do really like it. There's an awful lot of features on it that are really good, that work really well. The 4-point IMU system, brilliant. You can feel it when you're pushing on a bit and you're banked over, coming out of corners, that kind of thing, and you're giving it too much welly. It's kind of going, no, you're not getting that much power. Hang on a second, let me sit up a bit. But you can feel it working. Cornering lights, I always thought were an absolute joke on the bike when I first heard about them. Completely wrong. They are absolutely fantastic on a dark night, small, tight, twisty country roads. They give you so much more visibility in the corners. It's a great system. All the different rider modes, I never really used a huge amount of them. I drive it on the urban mode all the time. If I get a little bit spirited and want to go a bit quicker, I stick it on the tour mode, which you can actually do as you're driving, so that's a huge bonus. That actually gives you a lot more poke and go in it. But I find the tour mode, when you're going slow in traffic or that kind of thing, it is a bit snatchy. It kind of kicks in and out a little bit more so down low with the ride-by-wire system on it, so I leave it in the urban mode all the time. I have used it in the off-road mode and I've used it in the gravel mode as well, but as for the two user modes, I haven't set either of them up. I've used this bike both on-road and off-road. I travelled over to Spain and done the Transjuro trail across from Bilbao to Andorra on it early in 2022. So it's well capable of doing whatever you want it to do. The only limitations these bikes have is the actual rider. If the rider has no limitations, you can go anywhere, do what you want on it. It is a big bike, obviously 250 odd kilos. It's a 24.5 litre petrol tank on it. When you fill the tank up, yeah, you can notice the top weight on it, but for going on long runs, it's absolutely fantastic. You can go anywhere. It's brilliant. Great mileage, great distance on it. It's very good. Yeah, we're gonna take it for a little run out the coast road, and I'll stop out there and do a bit of a video on it. Right, helmet messing up my hair. Right, so we've stopped off out the harbour here in Greystones. So we're going to have a quick walk around to the Africa Twin here. Right, as I said, what we have is a 2021 model CRF1100 Adventure Sport. It's this manual model with the standard suspension, so it doesn't have the electronics on it. I have fitted a few bits and pieces to it. I put the huge crash bars on it, nice set of spotlights on it. I like to be bright and be seen and all that. I put a smaller screen on it, wind deflector on it, which I'll go through the whole reasoning for the hole on that. I used the SW Motec tank bag, little small tank bag Pro I think it's called, and Trax Adventure top box. So yes, basically I've had this one from new. I bought it back in April 2021. As I said, I've had little, well actually I haven't had little, I've had no trouble with it whatsoever. It's been absolutely fantastic. It's served me great. I've been on road with it, off road with it. As I said, I've done the Trans-Euro trail up around northern Spain from Bilbao across to Andorra. There was a couple of passes we had to turn around and come back on purely because of the time of the year we went and the weather. It was a bit in the early side for the time of the year we were to be there, so with a bit of snow and that. But the bike has been absolutely fantastic. Couldn't fault it. As I said, I had the previous model for 5 years before I got the 1100, and it was absolutely fantastic. I loved it. I didn't think they could actually get it any better, but Honda went and did it, and yeah, they did. They got it much better than the other one. Well, not much better, the other one was brilliant, but they're different. They made it very different. Although they're both called an African Twin, there's two completely different bikes. If you ask me how, it's very hard to explain. The 1100 is, I think it's 1080cc, it's not even quite the 1100, but it's a lot torquier. There's a lot more low down grunt in it. There's a lot more pull in it. It feels stronger. They've put tubeless tyres on it, tubeless rims, real BMW style with the spokes out through the sides of it. What else have they done? They put a 24.5 litre petrol tank on it, which is fantastic on long runs. Driving it on the back roads, taking a handy. I can get 500 kilometres out of a tank of fuel. Obviously driving it on the main road, when you've got a bit of pace going, that drops down drastically. But we'll go back around to the front. As I said, I've done the crash bars, the spotlights. The screen that came out on the 21 model was too high, way too high. I found when I was driving it, it was literally right in your eye line. Now, I don't know about you, but I have an awful habit of sitting on the bike for a long time, and I get lazy. I don't just sit there, I slouch. And when I was slouching, I was looking through the bead of the top of the actual screen. So I changed the screen and I put on the Givey sports screen, the shorter one, which I think looks great. You can still adjust it up and down. It's in its lower position there at the moment. And then what I've done, what I think everybody should do on an Africa Twin, I think they should actually be done from standard, is put these wind deflectors on. It stops the wind coming up underneath the side of the radiators and catching the peak on your helmet if you use an adventure helmet. So I put that on and it was great. Now the only thing I did find is I was getting a lot of wind turbulence from the screen, a lot of shaking from side to side. So I had a brainwave. I cut a small hole in the front of the screen to see if it would make any difference, because the original screen has a hole this size, but it just goes lengthways. So I cut a small hole in the middle of the screen and it made it a lot better. So what I done then was I cut out a piece of cardboard on the original screen, from the original size of the hole. I put it onto this one and I cut this out here, and that completely solved the problem of the wind turbulence. What else have I done to it? I haven't done anything else to it other than the crash bars, lights, and put petrol in it. I run a set of Mitas EO7 Plus tyres on it, which I find really good on both road and off road. They're quite good. But yeah, it's been an absolute great bike. A lot of people get a bit intimidated by this massive switchgear here with everything on it. This switchgear is very simple. You've got indicators, you've got a horn, and then for using the Apple CarPlay system, if you listen to music, it's the next track, previous track, and then this is literally just for scrolling through your menu, which I'll show you now as well. It does take like 20-30 seconds for the actual dash to load up on it. but it does look impressive while it's doing it. Alright, so this comes up on the screen to start it, so it's literally just a matter of pressing your enter button, or you can use the touch screen, because as I said, this is a touch screen dash on it. So literally press your button and there's your dash. Now because it's LED, it's going to wiggle up and down on the screen like crazy here. So basically your middle button here, this one, going from side to side, that literally just changes your trip settings. Alright, so you've got all the different information in there, and then on number 4 you can change your ABS, you can change your wheelie control and your traction control and everything else on that by literally just scrolling up and down through the buttons. So it's all very easy to use. It's simple, it's really simple. You've got an FN button on the dash on your switch gear here, and when pulling that, it gives you the option of your heated grips, which obviously you can turn up or down. They're all connected through the dash on it. You press it again, you've got your lights. It's got auto lights on it, so you don't have to have the lights on all the time. When it's on the auto mode, you just get the 2 horseshoe rings around the sides here, and it turns the bulbs off, but it does make the horseshoes very bright. They're the LED rings on it. They look great. But as I said, I'm under the impression that if you're bright, the brighter you are, the brighter you're seeing. So I leave the lights on all the time. And then the third option on that is for your volume. If you have your Apple CarPlay connected up to it and you're listening to music, you can change the volume on it by just using the buttons here. So that's basically all you have there. You've got your hazard lights and all that kind of stuff. Your up and down buttons here are literally just for scrolling through the modes. So you've off-road mode, gravel mode, urban, touring, and then user 2, which is an ABS off. Right, so that's basically set up for off-road use. I haven't set any of these up, but that's what it's for using off-road. And then user 1 is ABS on, so that's set for road use. So it gives you the best of both worlds, and you can go into the instructions, into the menu on it, and you can set that up whatever way you want. So you can adjust your power, your engine braking, your torque control, all that kind of stuff. As I said before, I don't bother. I just ride it on the urban mode, and I find that absolutely fine. Suspension on it has been absolutely perfect. I've never had any issues with it, even when we were away doing the off-roading on it. I was using the full luggage kit on it. I'll stick a couple of pictures up here. Using the full luggage kit on it, I use the Moscow Moto Rackless 80 system on it. So it literally just straps onto the rack at the back here, and then you've got your bags hanging over. But even with all the camping gear, I gave that about an extra 5 clicks on it, and it was absolutely fine. I didn't touch anything else on it, didn't adjust anything else on it, didn't go anywhere else on it. What else can I tell you? It's a lovely, comfortable bike to ride. It's a mile muncher. It really is a mile muncher. You can sit in this thing all day, which I have done on many occasions. I've sat in it all day. Oh, there's another thing. I did get these. I got these off a guy in Italy who I'd love to be able to find again to get some more stuff off, because they went on the week I bought it because I thought it was too much white in the middle of this bike here. So I put these clear stickers on just to break it up, and it's basically just True Adventure with your compass, and it's supposed to be your map of the world there. But they were actually clear, so you can see the white paint through them. But I think they actually look really well on it. Like, it gives it the old adventure style to it. I didn't change the exhaust can on it because, as I said, it's nice and quiet and you're pottering around slowly. But when you give it a bit of a rev, the second pipe opens, and it does increase the sound on it. But handling, superb. Braking, really good. Brakes are really good on it. And what I have noticed as well is when you brake really hard, your hazard lights come on automatically. It has self-cancelling indicators, so when you turn the indicator on, it literally only flashes 10 times on the likes of motorways and that. When you're stopped at a junction, you put the indicator on. When you go to pull away, it literally goes third gear, I think it is, and then it turns itself off as well. So yeah, my review of it, I think it's an absolutely fantastic bike. As I said, I've had this one since April 2021. I have it currently sold at the moment. People say to me, if it's such a good bike, why are you selling it? I'm in the business, I'm just going to try something different. I haven't been using it an awful lot. As I said, I've been on the little 300 doing some off-roading. So I'm just going to change it up, try something different and see what pops up next. But yeah, that's my review. As I said, I'll stick a couple of pictures up of when we were over in Spain and the dirt on it. It was an absolutely fantastic bike. One thing I did have on it back then is I had a Touratech bracket for the sat-nav. I use a Garmin XT up on the top here, and the Touratech bracket makes it sit up here really nicely. It's always in front of you, so you're not looking for it. It's always literally in front of you, so you can see it all the time, which is handy. You're not taking your eye off it, looking at the handlebar, that kind of thing. It's always in your vision. And what I've realised is when I was away, you're in the campsite and you get your tent up and you want to sit down and have a can of beer, and then you need to get into your tent and get something, it works as a great place to rest a can of beer. So there you go. But yeah, extra weight for the fuel tank? Yes, there is. Now, when I go away with the lads and we're doing a bit of off-roading and that, I don't fill it. I put €20 in it, which is what they were putting into their standard Africa Twins, which is what they were on, and it's absolutely fine. If you push the full 24.5 litres into it and go down the twistiest roads you can find, yes, you're going to find it heavier. It's going to be slower turning in the corners because you have put 24.5 litres of fuel there, but it still manages it perfectly well. You wouldn't notice it power wise or anything like that. No bother to it. 2 up, I've had 2 up a couple of times on it, and again, no problem to it. Pulls like a train. You wouldn't even know there's a passenger on it. But yeah, great bike. As an adventure bike, it's been absolutely flawless. As I said, the amount of electronics in it, I'll try and go through them and see if I can get them all. You've ABS, traction control, you've wheelie control, you've a 4-point IMU system, you've got cornering lights at the front here, these little fellas, which are absolutely fantastic. You go down a dark country road at night time, they light up, and they light up so much more of a corner. It is brilliant. You have a 12-volt power supply here. You plug your USB port into the side there for your Apple CarPlay. It's got the Honda Intelligent Security System in it. It has, as it says, your Apple CarPlay, so many settings in it for the 5 different rider modes, 4-point IMU system in it. It just really is a phenomenal piece of kit. So if you're looking for an adventure bike and a 1100 Africa Twin Adventure Sport is on your radar, I would definitely recommend to either go and buy one straight out. You won't be disappointed, or at least go and get a test ride on one of them, because as I said, I'm not sure what I'm going to replace it with now, but it's got an awful lot to live up to after having this one. And if I go through a few bikes and nothing jumps out there, I'll have no hesitation to going back and getting another Africa Twin. Yeah, so that's pretty much my thoughts on it. Good grunty engine. As I said, the engines are great. They've put them in the new NT1100 now as well, so they can't be too bad. They're 100 brake horsepower, but it doesn't feel like a bike with 100 brake horsepower. It feels like it's got more, because it's got more torque, it's got more grunt, it's got more pull. I said Honda do what they call giving you usable power, and with this one they've definitely given you a lot of usable power. So what we're going to do is we're going to put my helmet back on, and we're going to go for a bit of a spin. As I said, I have this one sold. It's hopefully going out at the weekend, so this will be my last ride on this one. So we'll get out and enjoy it.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors. forever free. Sometimes you need to go and take a step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell. You and me were meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free.
Another very handy feature in the adjustable screen. They put the 2 pins on it to try and discourage you from doing it while you're moving. The sneaky secret, you can. Thank you. Right. Now that we've gone over all the good points, all the good bits and pieces about it and what's great, which is pretty much most of it, now we're going to go and pinpoint the bad points. Right. It's not going to take long. First bad point, the seat. Honda could have done a better seat. It's comfy enough on the condition you don't sit in it all day. If you are going to sit in it all day, what I'd recommend is get off it every hour or two, go for a walk around the forecourt, go in and grab a coffee, that kind of stuff. if you're bike fit and you can sit on a bike for 8 to 10 hours a day, yeah, you'll get by, but it could be better. That's a little. I think the seat on the earlier 1000cc was a better seat than this one. But if you're going to be doing huge mileage, it's easy rectified. Either get your ass in shape or replace the seat, put a different seat on it. My other nitpicky thing, the fuel gauge. There's a fuel range on it, and when you fill it up it tells you you've got X amount of kilometres. I've put that to the test and ran out of fuel at 40 kilometres left to go. Now, in saying that, I had been going up and down to work and around town, so I was doing a lot of stop start, no motorway driving, nothing in a straight line or a continuous drive. It was just a lot of stop starting. So I think if I had been on a motorway and doing a constant run, it might have got a better feed of what was actually in the tank as opposed to being sloshed around all the time. But at the end of the day, it was reading 42 kilometres. I came out of work, it started up, took the bike up off the stand, it cut out. Done it again, it cut out, done it again, it cut out. I put a litre or two of petrol in it and went to the garage. So it had run out of petrol basically outside work, which is great, can't complain with that, brilliant. But if I'm running out of petrol, the fuel gauge shouldn't have been telling me there's 40 kilometres left now. Now I know most people aren't going to go down to the red flashing bar at the end of the fuel gauge and leave that there for a week. Most people will get down near the last bar and get petrol. I'm not most people. I don't think I'm the only one that does that. I am always bend the needle, whether it's on the bike, the car, the van, whatever the case may be. It's something I've always done. So there's two things. The seat could be better. Fuel range indicator could be better. And let me think, is there anything else? For the price of them, they should come out with a main stand fitted. The main stand is an extra and it'll cost you somewhere in the region of about 270 to 300 euros for a main stand. Bike that size, that price, of that quality, it should be coming out with a main stand. Anything else? No, there's not. At a 22, nearly 23,000 kilometres, they're the only issue I have. It's a bloody good bike. It is really, 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 really good. I'm not just saying that because I've had it for the last year and a half, nearly 2 years, and I had one before it. I'm going to go away from Africa Twins and I'm going to try something different. Just to try something different because I've been on them 7 years. But yeah, it's been a great bike and I'll be sorry to see it go. As I said, the next one that comes along is going to have an awful lot to live up to. Whether it will or not, I don't know. Only time will tell. But in this time in a year or 2 years' time, I could be sitting on this bench telling you a different story about a motorbike. It's good coffee in there. Good coffee.